Goodwill Hunting is such a feel-good movie, isn't it? Genius and just there doing all those equations and gosh. Then they figured it out and they wanted to support him and then a psychologist took him on. Well, let me tell you something. That's all bullshit. You see, academia is afraid of other people. I can go to that university I went to and walk around their engineering department and see they got a museum there with all these inventions. When you start talking to the professors about ideas, they don't have any of their own. Like they graduated and they have an engineering degree, a PhD, and now they're teaching people how to do the software and run 3D printers, but they don't have anything to do. And then you go to biology and they don't really want to hear about your algae idea and an ecosystem that you've invented in your mind that is computer controlled with AI and uses sewage to make unlimited glucose from sunlight. That would be the fastest way to produce energy naturally, cleanly, with no byproducts that the environment have to work out and clean the beaches. Not only eliminate offshore drilling, but now sewage has been treated and every single community in the world can have free energy. Instead of just trying to process our sewage and put it in the ocean and create a natural bacteria bloom. So if you go out there, you can get a nice staph infection or E. coli. Well, you put clean water out there because you've taken advantage of the biology of human waste that could be used to grow unlimited algae because the fertilizer is not even really where the carbohydrate comes from. The sugar produced by algae comes from greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide. Oh, you know what glucose can make? Alcohol. Yeah, you can drink alcohol. We've been making alcohol for thousands of years. Yeah. Right now we make E85 and we subsidize it, but it's cheaper than gas. It's made out of corn. How long does it take to grow corn? Well, it's a big agricultural endeavor to grow an ear of corn. If one swimming pool of algae is 72 square kilometers of tree leaves, except the algae is a single-cell organism with a phospholipid bilayer, where the net diffusion of nutrients and carbon dioxide is conducted on 3 dimensions. It's just based on the metabolic rate. Well, the metabolic rate is set by the amount of sunlight and nutrients, as well as the gas exchange. And so, you got the fertilizer, so it's like hydroponics. You're just soaking each algae in the nutrients it wants. And then you aerate it, you bubble it like a fish tank. And so as the air goes through it, the carbon dioxide is stolen and the oxygen is deposited. And use solar power to maximize the photosynthetic rate and to computer control air pumps and use oxygen analyzers to control the flow rate of air and light. And you do that 24/7. And you make unlimited oxygen, unlimited glucose, unlimited free alcohol. And now the alcohol can run alcohol turbines. Alcohol turbines that replace the coal burner. But the benefit of alcohol turbine is it's capturing the mechanical energy of ethanol. Now the mechanical energy of ethanol is going to produce heat. The heat is what the coal was able to produce with no mechanical energy. And so now you have a more efficient energy source that has a natural origin, where the origins had to produce oxygen. And guess what the exhaust is of burning alcohol? Well, it's the same as breathing. Yeah, when you breathe, carbon dioxide and water comes out. And so now the smokestack is only producing steam with carbon dioxide in it. Okay, so we've eliminated global warming and made everything solar powered, including every piston vehicle and every light bulb and every computer device. And we do so in a way that grows with the human population, just like in nature. Simple. We grow algae, and the algae proliferation is proportional to the population since it's going to be based on the flow rate of sewage. Oh, and food waste. We just recycle it. Yeah, because we can ferment that to make more free energy. But the biomass of algae can now use to make lubricants or biodiesels or, a new plastic that will biodegrade. And so we can eliminate plastic and fossil fuels. Well, you're going to tell me that it's cheaper to go to the ocean and set up a drill rig to crack through the crust of the earth, tap into some reserve of toxic waste that's going to be leaking no matter what you do? So if you want tar on your beaches, if you want to look at your skyline, be unable to go into the water because the sewage has made it toxic, but then you get to see a drill rig and then you get to jog and get tar on your foot, and then just oopsie-doopsies, another oil spill. And let OPEC control the price? Well, or we do what biology does. And so biology has all the answers. All the answers. If you want to be the king of the jungle, you should watch the lion. The lion doesn't hunt for fun. It couldn't. It hunts the weak ones to make the gazelle stronger. Its reproductive rate, its behaviors, very relaxed. It does what's necessary and only that. We're doing a lot of unnecessary things in the pursuits of greed and more. And, there's one history that we should be most concerned about. And that's the fossil record, where 99.9% of all species are extinct. And so if we don't adhere to the laws, if we do not obey the commandments of life, like we need oxygen, we don't need carcinogens, that we cannot produce plastic and put it in the ocean anymore. We cannot rely on energy sources that do not have a biological basis or remedy, because that's how you change the ecosystem. And when you change ecosystems, bad things start happening. And we're seeing bad things happening. And I don't care if you're too stupid to understand. Then just sit down and shut up. Because only the people that understand should anything to do with decisions. That we cannot trust greed as our shepherd. We cannot trust amour as the promise of a future. Because that future is a lie. That future is in standing on the truth today. You cannot create a future on the quicksand of lies and misinformation and ignorance. And we're all one species. This world will never work until you look in the eyes of every single other person and live up to the commandment of loving your neighbor as you love yourself. But let's work on that self-love first, because that's the source of all your problems. The blasphemy of a civilization convinced it's broken, convinced it's not enough without more, convinced it needs to prove something to itself. If you want to build a Noah's Ark, to jump ship on Earth because you are too cowardly, because you are too afraid, because it was easier for you to project love to your invisible father figure in the sky than the children you put in cages or the ones you blow up as collateral damage. If you want to sit here and sing Kumbaya to Jesus in the sky, well, let me just tell you something. There's a reason he's not answering you. Because look at you, cowering in the face of the calling of our lifetime, that this world is not going to last on its current trajectory if we don't just simply forgive the past and acknowledge the present together. If we don't start having leaders emerge, that we've got enough crybabies in this world, and we've got enough saboteurs that I've been through the ringer just trying to bring goodness to the lives of the people I love, and I realized that this world is so dark that it can't see because its head is so far up its ass, chasing the nothingness of a fantasy of tomorrow to fix your emotional problems of today. Well, I don't care if you feel abandoned as an adult. I don't care if you feel broken because of what your third grade teacher said. And I don't give a shit if you feel like your daddy abandoned you at 12. Grow up, because your ignorance, your entitled crybaby attitude is not worth sacrificing humanity so you could be right about a book you can't even read yourself because you sit there at a church like a child in Sunday school, having somebody else tell you what to believe, who to hate, and who's going to hell is not the doctrine of compassion, love, togetherness, and kindness. And I'll tell you something. Jesus would not be holding an AR-15. Muhammad would not be strapped up, ready to blow himself. And Buddha probably would not have nunchucks fighting each other so you could worship somebody because you're too cowardly to worship yourself in your life. Take all that love that you're projecting to the Andromeda galaxy and getting no return, no reply, and start giving it to other people. And then you'll start getting those blessings you want. Because when you start giving love and they start giving it back, then your prayers get answered. Only when you're the answer to someone else's first.